And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. As we all know, the new year brings new resolutions, and that just doesn't mean getting healthier or traveling more. You may also want to get your money straight. Here with us on The Factor is financial coach Charlotte Stallings with a few ways to improve your finances in 2020. Now, I know at the beginning of the year, people are focused on their W-2 and getting that tax refund. So do you put this before the tax refund and the effort that you put into that?
I would say no. I would say, well, not no. I'd say consider putting together your receipts, starting to gather your information. So then when you're sitting down with the accountant or whoever prepares your taxes, that you've got everything together. So that can be a good focus area. I would also say start to consider the things to help you be in a better financial state as you go throughout the year. And there's a lot of different things we can do. So consider both.
And before we get into that, though, a lot of people are getting into trouble with the new tax standards because they don't have enough deductions. And you need to consider that, or they need to pull back some of the deductions that they may have.
Absolutely. And so that's why it's important. Now is a good time to look at all of those things. Look at how many exemptions you have. Look at what you were allowed to deduct last year and if that might carry forward into the new year. So now is a good time to really strategize, to plan, to talk, have conversations at home, talk with your experts, your financial experts who can help you really do some assessing around your individual financial situation.
Now let's move on to your tips and what we can make, how we can make our financial house better in 2020. So where do we start with that?
So I like to say to people, start with some goals. I like to call them SMART goals, and that's being very specific about what you want to do. So if you found yourself overspending during Christmas time, maybe one of those goals is to get rid of that holiday debt or to put some money aside for the college education fund. But set those goals first. Have conversations, talk about what's important to you and what you want to accomplish. That's one important area.
Okay, what's next on your list?
I'd say another one is considering our overall budget. Some people think that's a cuss word, but it's not. I like to say it's a spending plan. How will you know where you're going to be if you don't have a plan? So sit down, consider what comes in, what goes out. I don't care if you have to use an app or write it down on a yellow pad, but have a spending plan. So look at your budget. That's the number 2 important tip.
And we also have to evaluate monthly expenses, right?
Absolutely. Look at, again, what's coming in, what's going out. I like to say to people, know what you own as well as knowing what you owe. So that's really getting a good picture of your bottom line. And then considering those variable expenses. There might be things that come up every quarter that we don't even think about. So consider the variable expenses. Make sure that you're looking at the overall monthly outgo.
And those expenses that we may consider inconsequential, but when you look at a full year, you could save a lot of money.
Absolutely.
For example, if you want to get rid of cable and just have Wi-Fi. Absolutely.
It's things like even consolidating phone lines. So my mother, as an example, had her phone line and she was paying 60-some bucks a month. And over the course of the year, when we annualize that, that's a big number. Just rolling her line into mine, we save 40 bucks a month, which annualized is a nice amount of money. So considering those monthly outgoes can be huge.
I drop down to cricket. Save me a lot of money. I do. I did.
Don't say that. Don't say it. Stop.
What's next on your list?
I'd say another one is absolutely consider saving. That is so important. People always say, do I save or do I reduce the debt? To develop the habit of being able to save. So every time you get paid, working on putting some aside for you, making sure that you're absolutely putting some toward debt, develop that habit and help your kids develop that habit. That's going to be good down the road.
And of course, one of the things is to teach your kids early as well so they won't get caught into trouble, financial trouble, like many of their parents are.
Absolutely. Sometimes, and here's a big one, if we can learn to live on less than what we make and bring home, that's just huge. It's so big. So we won't get into debt trouble if we learn, if we make $100,000, live like you make just $95,000. But if you make $100,000 and you live like you make $102,000, that's a problem. So developing those habits early on, helping our kids to develop those habits is so significant. So reducing that debt, not getting into those debt issues can be big.
What's else on your list there?
I'd say, you know what, continue to get information, to get help. Find resources. There are great books, there are great tools online, there are workshops, something I'll be doing at the end of this month to help women get smart about money, all kinds of things that are out there. So keep getting smart about money, consult the experts who can help you be really knowledgeable. Don't try to do it yourself. It's like you wouldn't pull your own teeth, would you? No.
No.
You go see a dentist. So that's what I say. See, don't do that, okay?
All right.
So I want everybody to get the information and get
All right,
help.
Charlotte Stallings, thank you for coming.
You're so
on The
welcome.
Factor.